Welcome back, fellow jazz bums. Today, we are doing the Jazz Vinyl Tag 2024. We want to give a shout out to Rob over at the Waxed VC channel. Thank you for putting this together. There are 10 questions that we're going to get into. Before we do, remember to like and subscribe. Check out our Discord. We'll drop a link to that in the description below. We live stream every Friday, 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. So come hang out with us there as well. And with that, I'm going to kick it over to Felipe to get us started.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Chris. Welcome back, everybody, to our channel. Today, we're finally doing the Vinyl Tag 2024, right? So we're going to pick among all those questions that Rob kind of put together. So the very first question, a great VCLT you had in 2023. This is tricky because we always like giving and receiving records. So sorry if we're like forget anybody or say something. So that's going to be the first question. VCLT means Vinyl Community Love Train, things that you either gave or received as a freebie from a friend, from someone that you like, people that you get along. So that's the first question. I'm going to show one record. I'm going to make honorable mentions. One for Angelo Kelly, according to Rob. I think he's a great international superstar, singer, musician, has an amazing band, and he sent us a few records later at the end of the 2023, and I really like to thank him for that. So, but I'm gonna keep it short here. Another mention to Rocco from Pieces of Vinyl. He sent me some records earlier this year, some really amazing soul stuff. But the highlight is going to be, first, this record came with a T-shirt, and I got it from Joe Marino, which is one of the best records of the year anyways. And if you don't have it still, I enjoyed this record since first day one. From Mahalia with Love.
Oh, very nice.
From James Brennan Lewis. Amazing record. A VCLT, a great, nice gift from Joe Moreno. I sent him... in return, the Aaron Sullivan record on Atlantic that Rob showed this weekend. And it also goes to the category of Cheap Heat. It's a fantastic record. Everybody should get that one for less than $10. Okay? But this record has an amazing cover, amazing music. Definitely a highlight in 2023. And highly recommended for everybody. And thank you again, Joe. Very kind of you. Okay? Hope you send me some great ones in 2024 as well.
Very nice.
Yeah, I got that record about 2 weeks ago. I've only listened to it a couple of times, but I really like it too.
I just got it in as well.
Oh, cool. So I've got a couple of records to show for VCLT stuff. I mean, everyone's been so generous to us. These first two are like just my favorite band, basically. Clifford Jordan and Cedar Walton, Billy Higgins, etc. And Mark Lastman sent me Volume 1 and Volume 2 of these on Muse. I had Volume 2, but not Volume 1. So those were awesome, great records. Then I had bought a Jason Moran record from Notes and Tones Mike, and he sent some nice extra records along. This is one of them. This is Mulgrew Miller Quintet. It's called Wingspan. It's on the Landmark label. I think Orrin Keepnews produced this. So I don't know if that was one of just his many labels. This was in the 80s. I think about 87. 87. It's got Mulgrew Miller, Kenny Garrett, Charnett Moffett on bass, Steve Nelson on vibes, and Tony Reedus on drums. Really good sounding record, and appreciated that one. And then the last one I wanted to show was one I got from Angelo, which if you watch our live streams, you've seen this before, but I will. So this is a really nice third line record he sent me.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
How do you say his name? It's Isao Suzuki?
Isao Suzuki, yeah.
So this one's neat because he's a bass player, so it's really a bass forward record, and it's got some really interesting sounds that are produced. There's two bass players on a couple of the tracks too, and then it's like drums and guitar and piano, so no horns, but three different stringed instruments, and anyway, really nice record. Really enjoyed this one. So that's the VCLT for me.
That's kick-ass.
Yeah, some good stuff. All right.
Yeah.
So also want to thank Angelo Kelly for his package that he sent over. He sent some really cool stuff, plus his album, which everybody should check out. And Rob sent me an amazing package. My friend Kevin gave me a ton of great records. Felipe, you sent me a Muse record, a Sonny Chris Muse record. So lots of VCLT for 2023. But one that was very timely because it literally came in like 4 hours ago. Our friend channel Roberto, he signed up for like the annual renewal for Vinyl Me Please, which came with like a number of free records. And he had, I forget how many, like 8 or 10 of them that you would get for free if you signed up for a certain period of time. So you could select pretty much whatever was in stock. So he had 3 remaining and messaged me and said, hey, are there any like Vinyl Me Please records you want? I have three I can get for free. So I hadn't signed up for Vinyl Me Please since like 2022, I think. I forget the last title. It may have been like Sunship, Coltrane or something like that.
Yeah.
So so this just came in today. He got me 3 records, and I'm really happy to have each of these because I wanted them. Sorry, I don't know why my thing's out of focus here, but here's the first one. We have Monk's music. I haven't listened to any of these. These literally just came in. Coltrane's on this. I think like Ben Webster's on this. The lineup's pretty. Oh, Coleman Hawkins, Monk, Ray Copeland on trumpet, Wilbur Ware bass. I am really excited for this one, and I heard that it's a really good reissue. So
this is one of the best they put out this year with McCoy Tyner. To me, the best sounding jazz records Vinyl Me Please put out in 2022.
I did regret not getting this, so that's awesome. This next one is the Yusuf Lateef on Riverside. I'm really excited about this because I have a bunch of OG Riversides. The quality varies on them significantly. So I think Riverside would, and I think there are rumors that it is going to happen. I think like Acoustic Sounds might be looking into that, but Riverside needs reissues. Outside of like Chet Baker and Bill Evans, and maybe a few other titles, their catalog has a lot of great stuff that needs to be brought back. So I'm excited to see what Vinyl Me Please did here. This is a cool one. I think there's 3 different groups on here, or he's playing 3 different instruments. So pretty excited for this as well.
This one is really good too. Really good.
And then the third one, which I'm excited about because Man of the Hour, Joe Henderson, is on this. So this is the Freddie Roach, Brown Sugar. And this will be my first Blue Note from Vinyl Me Please. So I'm interested to see what they did. I think there are a couple reviews on this I want to check out just to get up to speed. But I think I assume it was done very well. And then, this is Joe Henderson, Freddie Roach, Eddie Wright guitar, and Clarence Johnston drums. So really,
why don't you listen to it instead of reading reviews before you listen to it? Just listen to it.
It is really good.
I like to get up to speed on everything.
You read reviews of a record you have in your hand.
Well, whatever. I mean, usually you find out some pretty good factoids. So thank you, Roberto. And Roberto and I are connecting in early February. A bunch of people are going to the Village Vanguard. Felipe, you're flying up for that. Chris Brown from Welcome Brown will be there. Mike Notes and Tones will be there. So we got a good group of people going to the Vanguard. So
and Joe Marino, okay, let's talk well with Joe Marino so he can send me more records.
Joe Marino. So due to this awesome VCLT, which is really nice of you, drinks are on me.
Thank you so much. I'll take advantage of that.
All right. Next question.
Okay, so next question. 2 and 3 kind of intersect, but number 2, records that you have in both mono and stereo.
All right, what you got, Felipe?
So I selected a few here in mono and stereo, mostly because I think they will be interesting, and also because the presentation is quite different, I found. Okay. First off, I'm going to show the reissue. I think Chris will have this one as well. Man of the Hour. That's Inner Urge.
Oh, yeah. Killer record.
Yeah, that's the Music Matters 33.
Yeah, that's what I have.
Okay. That's in stereo. It's 8/41/89. The end of the run on 4100 series. And this is a pretty cool That's the OG in mono.
Mm.
Ooh.
Okay. Yeah, that's the New York pressing, of course, end of the run, 4189. Check all mark checks.
Yeah.
The presentation is absolutely different. The Music Matters, of course, has a lot more detail. This one has more presence, as we expect in those monos, right? Especially being a fold down. We know that this is a fold down. It's not like an actual mono recording. So it has a lot of power there. The Music Matters has a lot more finesse, detail, more revealing. And this one is more like in your face kind of thing. Okay, I'm not going to get into details today about mono, stereos, Van-Gelder, compression, or anything like that.
Please God,
But it's a very, very different presentations, but both very, very pleasing, very, very good. And I think it's a great curiosity here to talk about.
Yeah.
Another record that I have in mono and stereo that I selected, and I think they have quite different presentations. This guy here. This is our Blake Messengers. This is a stereo, although they didn't change the number in the cover, but that's a stereo pressing.
Okay.
That's 4003, was a stereo recording anyways. And mono is also, again, a fold down.
Now on the label, does it have the 8?
Yes, it's a BST.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it is a stereo.
Yep.
That's the SRX, as you can tell by the
yeah, because the original was like that, and they just put the stereo sticker on it, that gold stereo sticker.
Yes, exactly. And this is an OG mono.
Nice.
Again, very that's deep groove, P, blah blah blah, the whole thing.
Which one do you pull off the shelf to listen to?
More, I'd say the Music Matters.
Yeah.
You hear a lot more. You get like the breathing of the instruments, the drums sound more detail. I think just like in most our Blakey records, right? It's really punchy, really strong. But it gets so loud sometimes, it's kind of blurry. So I'd say the Music Matters is nicer. I think I like it better.
Makes sense.
Plus, being a stereo, you can point each one of the guys, because if you've seen videos of them playing, I think there's a very nice on YouTube with the original band from this record playing moaning. So you can actually kind of see them, when you're listening to it. Okay, cool. And lastly, another record that kind of has a different presentation. I'm going to be quick here with this one. This is a Music Matters 45.
Oh, yeah.
That's nice. That's also in stereo. That's the test pressing. And this is an OG mono of Taking Off. Also very early in the series, 4100. They sound very different. They have also, again, they're very strong in the, in the horns, and sounds louder. But again, the Music Matters has a lot more detail and finesse to it. So it's kind of depends on the day, but I mostly go to the Music Matters. But if I want to like really, really listen to the record, and I think these guys, they highlight presses.
Can you show the test press? Can you show the test pressing again? I just want to call out something on it. The attention to detail that on the test pressings, they put the Plastilite logo. For everybody receiving test pressings is, it just, goes above and beyond.
It is cool, yes. And I mean, of course, it's a tribute to Plastilite, but they did that. If you see the Music Matter records, they all have the P and the dead legs. Yeah.
Cool.
It's pretty cool, yeah.
I just got one for this one. So mono and stereo. This right here, this is Paul Desmond, Desmond Blue.
That's a great one.
Yeah, it's actually really good. So it's him with like strings, and it's very third string classical sounding. But I mean, it's standard jazz tunes like My Funny Valentine, and We Got You Under My Skin, Body and Soul, stuff like that, right? But it's orchestrated, and it's really relaxing and sounds really good. It's RCA. This is the mono, and then I've got the kind of OG living stereo version. This one's a
Oh,
little
cool.
cover wise.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's really. I mean, this should be a very cheap record if you like Paul Desmond and you see it. It's one of those records that has strings that did it really well because he kind of fits in with that, like just this whole relaxed tone to me fits in with having an orchestra behind him. It's not forced. So anyway,
So which
Do
one do
you-
you like better?
Yeah. Which one do you prefer?
I don't know. I listened to the mono today just to get familiar with it again. I knew I had those two. That's what came to mind when I saw the question. So I haven't listened to the other one in like 2 years. So I don't know. I'm probably gonna get rid of one of them though. I'll probably just keep the living stereo because it says living stereo and those are
Mhm.
cool. So it doesn't matter that much to me.
So I'll jump in with my pick here. Also, I was just thinking that if you picked up the reissue of 2023 of Coltrane, My Favorite Things, you could use that. You could use that one set because it comes mono and stereo
Exactly.
to answer this. I did not pick it up though, but I heard it was an excellent.
I've got
reissue.
it. It's good. It's really good. Yeah.
Mhm.
I'll listen
what
to
I
it
did-
instead of the Org 45 now. Usually, if I pull that record out, just because I don't have to flip it.
And do you listen to the mono?
Just whatever I feel like at the time. But
Whichever you grab.
I've listened
Okay.
to both. I've listened to both of them three times probably.
Okay. All right. I'm going to jump in. This is a Riverside. This is the mono Sam Jones. This is Soul Society, and it's a great session. This is the mono, and this is the first pressing, and this is like I think it's the 95 millimeter
Yeah, it is.
label.
Maybe that-
So
yeah.
it's a smaller label with a deep groove. You can see it's clean. There's no like big defects on anything, but the playback is not the greatest. It sounds like it was recorded poorly. When we spoke with Nick over at Craft, he was saying that sometimes like Riverside would rent out like commercial studios at like off hours and go and record there. So the consistency of the recordings varied depending on where they were able to get time. So I suspect like, this was probably, I don't know what was done, but probably something like that. But I got it for a fair price, and it's just a rare record. It doesn't come up that much. As a great cover. So it's his cello and double bass there with him. And look at the lineup there. So Nat, Blue Mitchell, Jimmy Heath, and Bobby Timmons. So pretty killer lineup there. And Lewis Hayes drums. So killer lineup. And then I was online, and this popped up I think for like $25 or something, which I was really surprised. The stereo. And since the mono didn't really blow me away, I was like, well, let me take another crack at it with the stereo. Pretty much identical. I mean, they're obviously like there's stereo panning in this, but like the recording quality again was not different. So this one, I know that there was a Sam Jones compilation that was put out. I forget who. I think it was an OJC. OJC did like some compilation stuff, digital.
Maybe.
And there's a few songs that are on this that are on that, and I'd actually like to pick that up to hear what they did with it, the comparative difference.
Mm-hmm.
And I just do wonder, like, if anybody has the tapes, if like they could get something, because the session itself is really awesome. Even if like there are a lot of issues with it, but even if you could just like more clearly define the instruments, I think that would go a long way. But that's stereo mono, and for this, I probably prefer the stereo. I think it's actually a little it plays a little cleaner. On the old vinyl, sometimes there's like little pops and ticks, but this and this also has the regular stereo label.
Mhm.
So that's the regular 100 millimeter size label. No deep groove on this. And sometimes the OGs don't have a deep groove because they pressed all around. So it just depends on what the press they were using for these. So the first pressings, they have a lot of variance as well. So
for sure.
anyway, that's my mono stereo pick.
The next question is OG versus a reissue. So they could easily overlap with the previous question, but that's the next one.
Especially since you have like 500 OGs in reissues. So yeah.
Yeah, so that's to me was kind of easy because I mean, I'm looking to get OGs and have the best pressings possible. So and Blue Notes is my main target, so I'm gonna stick with Blue Notes and show some more. First, I'm gonna show one that I actually forgot my reissue, so I just have the OG upstairs here with me. This Basra, that's the OG,
Nice.
and I have a Music Matters also reissue of this one. And
Is it 33 or 45?
the Music Matters 45.
Yeah.
And this is a record that's very dear to me. One of the first B&A's I ever bought. I was really in love with this record. He has, Steve Kunst, Steve Swallow, Joe Henderson, and Pete LaRocca. It's a really, really smoking session. This is really, really good.
Yeah, that's probably in my top 10 Blue Notes, honestly. I love
Yeah.
that record.
Right. So this is another intersection because this record fell into my grail category that we're going to talk later, but also an OG of Mulford Joe.
Nice.
This is the mono, and this is my Music Matters 45. This one I got. The cover is downstairs. I don't have the cover here with me. I kept it separate. Okay. And lastly,
Well, hang on, let's talk about that record real quick. Has that been announced as being a classic series?
Yes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Mulford Joe.
I think it's coming out.
Too,
Yeah.
right? Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Cool.
Kick-ass, totally killer record. And lastly, just quickly here, another Grail that came. This another SRX. Also could be a stereo mono, and man, this record is a killer. I know Mike likes it.
Oh yeah.
That's Soul Station. That's again that's the SRX.
Yeah.
I've got the MMJ regular 33 of that, and it's just amazing sounding.
It is amazing. And this is the mono.
Great record.
And that's like a near mint mono original copy.
Holy shit, bro.
It's amazing.
Woo!
Yeah. So and
Look, they're bringing the fucking OG heat.
yeah, that's deep groove and everything. And this record, it is amazing. However, I'd say I like the stereo better.
Yeah.
I like the stereo Music Matters better. I mean, there's a lot of power here again with those fold downs, but it's not so much definition. So when you get those very little details in the horns and the drums, everything, I think the stereo still beats it. Okay.
Now here's a question: there's an OG stereo as well, right?
Yes. The OG is actually stereo. This mono is a fold down. Yeah.
Well, right, but I mean, they were both put out at the same time, the stereo and the mono originally.
The stereo came out later, Felipe. Yeah, the stereo came out first time. It looks like in '68 with a different cover.
The stereo?
Really?
Yeah. So here, I'll quickly show just because it's kind of interesting. But if we look at the U.S. pressings filtered by vinyl, we have mono in 60. Then we have a repress 65, 66, 66 again, and then 68 is the first stereo entry, and it has this
horrendous cover.
It has a horrendous
cover. Yeah, that's a terrible cover.
All right.
Was he a ghost or what?
Yeah, I think they were like, let's make sure that people can tell mono from stereo.
Yeah, he's a ghost, so it's stereo.
My
all right. Oh wait, is it my turn? Yes.
Yeah, I'm done.
Yeah.
Hey, I need you, Philippe. I need your help. Can you show the reissue for this one?
Here's the reissue. Fantastic reissue. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is Ronnie Foster, Two-Headed Freep. This came out in the 80th series, I think, last year.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've got an OG.
Why is Felipe showing one of the records?
I can't find my reissue. I don't know what I did with it. It's in a box somewhere. I couldn't find it. But This is an OG United Artists. I listened to this today. It sounds really good, but I need to find my reissue so I can listen to it to compare. But I had this without a cover. But man, I need to find like a cover and like a roached out OG because this is like $150 record now, which is kind of crazy. I wonder if it went up. And I looked at the sales history, and it did kind of go up in price after the reissue came out, which is interesting.
All right.
I think that happens a lot with some of these OGs.
Yeah, this reissue is terrific. It's amazing.
This isn't a first pressing, but it's an early pressing. I have early pressings of all four of these titles. This is Cooking with the Miles Davis Quintet. So this is the first quintet. So it's Philly Joe Jones, Red Garland, Paul Chambers, John Coltrane, and Miles Davis. The story is that Miles was already recording with Columbia, and he needed to get out of his contract with or finish his contract with Prestige. So he went into the studio for 2 days, recorded enough material for 4 records, and this is one of them. and it's a great one. So this is the Bergenfield pressing on the Fireworks label. The RG stamped. Sounds really good. These were done very well, in my opinion. And this is the Analog Productions Prestige Series reissue. And it sounds excellent as well. This is a $40 copy, so it's a little pricey for a new record, but it's well worth it. And OGs are way more than $40. And this sounds just as good. It's got Kevin Gray mastered those Prestige, right?
Yes.
Or is it
Yes.
Okay, so you got Kevin Gray on here mastering it, and it sounds excellent. So that is my OG and reissue. And the OG is actually a little off white, and this is bright white. So
It's old, man.
cover's slightly different.
It's old, yeah.
Slightly different.
It's old.
Do you guys have this reissue?
Yeah, of course. We have all 50 of them.
Yeah, I have the reissue and a blue label. Yeah, they're both quite good.
My go-to, I go to the reissue.
Yeah. For some reason, I just never listened to those 4 records. I don't know why. But like I pick a mile stuff, I listen to Bitches Brew or
Well, those were important to me when I first started getting into like jazz record collecting. Those were after I kind of like explored a little bit and I found what those were. Like those were like the first like really intentional things I was like searching for. So I listened to those a lot when I first started collecting.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And I still revisit them, but yeah.
That's really cool. All right.
All right. What's our next question?
So what's the next question? Known jazz artists that release jazz records. That's number 5, I believe, right? Or 4?
No,
This is
it's 4.
4.
Show a jazz album by an artist not known for being a jazz performer.
Yes.
Okay.
So first, I'm gonna pick 3. 1, 2. Where's the other one? Okay. I picked those guys here because I thought first I wasn't expecting when I first saw them. Then I figured out they were in Blue Note. I listened to them, was blown away. And this guy's like virtuosos. They're geniuses, and I hope they have a really long career. And I hope they come to Florida so I can see them live. And they have more than a jazz background, but they have put out a really nice jazz record or whatever that is because it's just brilliant.
Yeah.
Let me get it back, right? These guys are like supernatural. There's something extra here. I don't know. And they're both great individually, but the chemistry between them is just crazy. I think goes beyond anything. Second, I think
Hang on. What year did that? Was that in 21 or 22 or 23?
22.
22. Okay.
22, yeah, late 22.
I didn't get it till 23, but
Yeah.
yeah, it's probably my favorite newer release that I got last year.
Yeah. So now a 90s record that I finally got an OG. It's a hip hop guy that instead of sampling, he actually got the jazz guys to play along, and they made a fantastic, groundbreaking, innovative, and that's actually volume 2, which is probably the best of the series.
Very nice.
Jazz Matters with Guru. This record is like amazing, amazing, amazing. Also, like I think it's a great like cross genres, and you can fit into anywhere. But to me, it's primarily a jazz record.
Yeah, that's sweet.
Right. And lastly, I'm going to show a CD because even Chris was surprised when I showed this one. I bought it when it was released. I think I bought it as a pre-sale, and it's actually very good. If you guys are not familiar with this one, probably many are. Great to find out. Chrissy Hind, Valve Bone Wall. She put out this record in 2019. It's a really nice jazz record with a jazz band. Highly recommend as well. It got really good reception by the critics, and she's pretty much playing standards. There's even like, We Don't Know What a Love Is, Meditation on a Pair of Wire Cutters, I'm a Fool to Want You, Neymar. So there's a little bit of everything here. It's a really good record, and you can tell where the cover was inspired of. That was, yeah.
Cool. So the one I picked, I don't know if he's known for being a jazz artist or not, but I think most people probably don't even know who he is. So this is a really nice reissue I got. I don't know when it was 22 or 23, but from the label Ubiquity. They always have these little obies to tell you about the record. So this is guy's name is Howard Wells. It's called Rendezvous with the Sun, and he is known for being he was in the Grateful Dead, so he played on American Beauty, right? He played on that record, and he's an organ, keyboard, synthesizer player. And so when he recorded this in '72, he basically had to fund it himself. He had to come up with the money to rent the studio and all that. And the band he played with was a bunch of guys that he was in a band with Jerry Garcia. I don't remember the name of the band, but it wasn't Grateful Dead. It was like a side project. But this is like a super kind of psychedelic, funky fusion jazz. I mean, it's really hard to describe. Every song has kind of a different feeling to it, but highly recommended. I said Ubiquity. It's actually on Love and Hate, but that's like a sub-label of Ubiquity. Do y'all have any other records? And I show these all the time.
No.
Like they did the Pharaohs records that I've shown 100 times, but this one's really cool. And so yeah, that's my jazz record by an artist not known for jazz.
Nice.
And the cool thing is the jacket's like a tip-on jacket. It sounds really good. It was pressed at RTI, and you can get this right now, brand new, sealed on Discogs for $10.
That's nice.
Yeah.
All right. So this one I struggled with, so I'm going to kind of bend the question a little bit. But one record that came to mind that I don't have, Chris, when you were talking and you mentioned Jerry Garcia, there's an Ornette Coleman and Jerry Garcia record called Virgin Beauty. And if I had that one, I would show it, but I don't. So I'm going to take some liberty here because I really didn't have a good example that like fit the prompt exactly. But this is a Duke Ellington record, and they do Tchaikovsky. So I'm going to call it the classical composer Tchaikovsky. And you have Strayhorn and Ellington doing the arrangement. And this thing swings. It's a great Christmas record. Definitely one to stream if you don't have it. Pick it up. It's one of my favorite jazz Christmas records. So I'm going to throw in some Tchaikovsky to answer this question.
Nice.
So I'll get 2 points to that. One, Ellington was definitely known as a jazz guy. And two, Christmas is over. That's it.
No, I mean Tchaikovsky was a classical.
Yeah, I get it. I know. It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
All right.
What is next?
All right. So next this is Visit to records that got shelved and later released.
Yeah. What you got?
I got two. It's pretty easy. LT series, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So I got two of them right here. First, this is terrific. Dexter Gordon Landslide.
Yeah, I need to get that.
People criticize their covers, but this has everything to do. It looks like after a landslide.
Yeah, that one's actually fine.
Right?
Yeah.
So it came with a blue label, white B. Let me see the year of the session here. It was recorded in 62 and June and May of 62. And 61 as well. On Landslide, Dexter Gordon, Kenny Drew, Paul Chambers, Philly Joe. The remainder side one, Dexter, Tommy Tarantine, Sir Charles Thompson piano, all Lucas bass, Willie Bobo drums. On side two, the whole side two is Dexter Gordon, Dave Burns, Sonny Clark, Ron Carter, and Philly Joe. Sonny Clark was a really close friend of Dexter.
So that one's kind of just a bunch of pieces they had and they put into a record, basically.
They put it together, yes. It's like a patchwork. And a guy that I really love, and this record sounds amazing as well. LTs are hit and miss. Some LTs sound great, some not so much. And another I Quebec with A Song in My Heart, which is a beautiful cover. It is a beautiful, beautiful record. Music here is terrific. Let me just double check the dates of the sessions for you. It's singles, two sessions in February 13 and 5th of 1962 with I Quebec, Earl Van Dyke, Willie Jones, Sam Jones, Wilbert Hogan, and he wouldn't live much longer after that. It's a beautiful cover. I like this cover. I think that's the best LT cover.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are two that I picked because most of them have become Tom Poets or whatever,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I picked. So I picked this Lee Morgan record that came out in the Tom Poet series last year, Infinity.
Mm-hmm.
It's Lee, Jackie, Larry Willis, Reggie Workman on bass and Billy Higgins on drums. This one, so it was LT 1091. I can't really, let me see if I can pull it out to talk about the dates and stuff. This one really impressed me. I was kind of burnt out on Lee Morgan, honestly. I mean, because I listened to so much Lee Morgan when I first started listening to jazz, a couple of years ago or whatever. But man, this is really good. And so it was, let's see, it was released in 1981. And then does it say when it was recorded? Original session, yep, 1965 at Inglewood Cliffs. Did y'all get this Tone Poet, or do y'all have the?
Of course, it's a very good Tone Poet.
Yeah, it's really good. Did you get it, Mike?
Nope, did not get that.
You should. You really should. No, it's fucking great. I mean, it's like I don't know who says he was a Moots Felipe or someone else.
I think you're right.
The worst Lee Morgan record's an amazing record.
Yeah, I think you got a great point. It was like kind of getting burned out with Lee Morgan, just too many issues, or But I think this record was special. I really enjoyed this one, and it's kind of surprising in a sense.
We also dedicated like a month of your life to Lee Morgan when you did that whole video series and everything else too. So.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. All right. So for my pick, I'm going to show this mosaic box. So this is Tina Brooks. Tina Brooks had 4 sessions for Blue Note. I think each session was a day, if I remember correctly. The first one was like it was either 58 or 59. The second one is True Blue. That was a 1960 session. And that actually got released. And it actually just came out as a classic series reissue. So you should definitely go check that out if you don't have it. And then there were 2 other ones that came out, I think in 1960 and 1961. And those were shelved. So 3 of the 4 were shelved. These were put out, I think they were put out in like Japan later. And were these LT series, Felipe? Were they ever LT series, the Tina Brooks?
I don't think so, Mike. No, I can't remember. No, I never saw Tina Brooks with those covers.
Yeah. So, yeah, these covers, they may be Japanese or Music Matters, and I guess Tone Poet did.
So Music Matters did True Blue, and the one at the bottom there. Back to the track.
So Tone Poet was Minor Move
and
The Waiting Game.
Yes.
So these are all good, killer hard bop sessions. It makes you wonder, like, why wouldn't they put them out? I've heard reasons, but I mean, just hearing them now, I mean, they're just such great records. So that is my pick, Tina Brooks.
Nice.
Great. That is great. So next question. Those will be small label or private pressing. This question is kind of open as well. We kind of debated quite a lot on that. So I think we're going to keep it like open. It's hard to tell sometimes a small label from a private press and to actually find them among our things. So
yeah, exactly.
Feel free to. So I picked 2 records that I got this year on smaller labels. I bought this record as the first record. They already put a second one from this French group called Aldohand. It is really good. It's more like on the it's kind of a little free, more like on the spiritual side. Very like sets the mood, very reflexing kind of thing. It's a great jazz record. It's a double. It doesn't cost much, and I highly recommend this one. It came on Favorite Records.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Aldorande.
And so it's inspired, actually. Can you tell, Chris? There's a planet here, Aldorande.
Oh, very nice.
Right?
Little nerdy reference.
Please, Grand Muffin, don't blow up Alderaan.
Yes, I got it. Yes.
Yeah.
I got it.
And second one, I have a few more, but I thought this one would be cool to show. It's a record that we got. It's a cover by Leroy Butler. It's a second album by this band. It's called Unreleased. It was recorded live in 1973, and finally it was put out by Dogtown Records, Dogtown Brewery. It's called The Sound of Liberations.
Nice.
Sound of Liberation. With like Philly, a very iconic Philly band. OGs of these records, like obscenely expensive. They, I think they're a great document to the kind of jazz that was putting together in the area, which is different from, like, say, Chicago or Detroit or New York or West Coast. They had their own, like, more like on the funk, more groovy kind of sound, but with a very heavy political message, which is really good ensemble here. Very important historic document. You guys can find this one. I recommend.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to get that. That sounds right up my alley.
Yeah, I think it's really good. You're gonna like. You just feel like you're in the concert hall with it. It's pretty cool,
Who doesn't like funky communism, man?
right? Yeah.
All right. So my pick. I don't really have a private press thing, but I thought this was interesting. I've had this record for a long time. It's like literally you can buy this record for $1 on Discogs right now. This is Benny Carter and Dizzy Gillespie, In the Mood for Swing. And it's got Dizzy Gillespie's on like 3 of the songs. So it's Benny Carter, Roland Hanna, George Mraz, Louis Bellson, and a guy named Howard Alden on guitar. And they're playing like old swing tunes. It was recorded in 85, maybe 87 again. Yeah, so I'm in the mood for swing. But just a bunch of swinging tunes. So, but I thought it was cool because it's like more modern players playing those old songs with Benny Carter and Dizzy, who were playing them when they were originally happening in the 40s. So yeah, and so anyway, the label is called Musical Heritage Society. I've never seen these before, but apparently it was like a mail order.
Oh yeah, I've seen those.
Mail order company.
Yeah,
and they did classical. Like there was mainly a classical thing. So, but this sounds really, really good. It's like super thin. Like it's
like
80
Dynaflex.
grains. Yeah, it's like a Dynaflex for sure. But it sounds really good. So I would be interested to see like if anybody has any of the classical stuff they put out and what the opinion is of
It's cool.
kind of those records.
That's pretty cool.
Very cool. Okay,
Mike's
so
one.
my pick. I think this is an independent label for sure. There were only like 3 titles I think put out, maybe 4. This is Prince Lachey's label Bird's Eye. So that's the logo there.
Oh, nice.
And this is a concert volume 2. I forget the actual. I think it's Firebirds, like Firebirds concert number 2. It's a little out there. Volume 1 and volume 3 I think are really kind of free. This one's not as much, but it's still really, really out there. But Brandon showed this recently on the live stream, and yeah, picked up. So Prince Lachey is getting a reissue for The Cry on the new contemporary series that Analog Productions is putting out. So his stuff is kind of hard to get. You have that title on contemporary. He has a title on Enja that was put out in the United States by Inner City. And then also this title, so on his label, one of the titles, this one, was put out by Enja. And I actually just pulled it up just to show everybody. So if you're interested in this one might be hard to come by. But this one is on Enja. It's called Search for Tomorrow, and it is this record. It has this cover here. And it looks like it's like a $20 record. So if you are, and there's 5 for sale, I'm not going to click into it, but the lineup is, also on the original, Cannonball does the liner notes, which is kind of cool. On this reissue here, you have Hubert Eaves piano, you have Kenneth Nash percussion, Prince Lachey is playing flute, alto, and baritone, Roy McCurdy drums, and Ron Carter on bass. So it's a cool one, worth checking out, but that is my small independent label selection.
Now, did it come with a bag of frozen mixed vegetables? Since it's on the Bird's Eye label? I mean,
no. Well, the thing is, so his group was called Firebirds, right? And even the contemporary, one of his releases is called Firebirds. So that I think was the name of his group. So Bird's Eye kind of made sense for like a label name for him.
That's cool.
Yeah, very cool.
Nice.
What's the next question, Felipe?
All right, next question. I don't know the number, but another question.
Number 7.
Good records that you recommend as an intro to spiritual jazz, whatever the heck it means, right?
Spiritual, free jazz, or avant-garde? Yes.
Yes.
Whatever you choose.
So I picked two. I just picked the most obvious one to start with, and you guys know the answer. It was a good introduction to me as well. And this is a reissue of the Verb by Request series. I think Fadi Al Daoud by his
Yeah,
culture.
nice.
Yeah.
I think it's not a hard listen to, and I think it's a good introduction to us, Coltrane, and some of this music. And of course, it's a great pressing of Verb by Request. It has Joe Henderson here as well. Pharoah Sanders, right? I think so.
I believe so.
Yeah, and it is beautiful. It's not a hard listen, and I think it's one of the more like agitated compared to some of her other records that are really, really on the more like very contemplative, more like slow kind of side. But this one is really good. I think it's a good intro from like if you're going from traditional jazz, trying to search more spiritual lands. I think that's a really good one.
Yeah, absolutely. I was thinking about that record too for spiritual jazz for sure.
Yeah. And second, I'm gonna pick a contemporary band, which I think people should really. This is their first record for 2019. They just put out a record last year with Gary Bartz. It's a British band led by drummer Jake Long. It's called Maisha.
That's cool.
This is fantastic. This is really good. You can get it for cheap on Amazon or Bandcamp, whatever. It's called There Is a Place. That's their debut record. I think it's 18 or 19. So it's a very traditional spiritual kind of jazz. It starts very low, has a build up, has kind of a climax, but it doesn't go crazy all over the place. It's a really, really good record. I mean, when I first got the Gary Bartz record and I started searching their discography, I also got this one. And I think for a spiritual, it's a great introduction on a more like a modern contemporary kind of approach. Highly recommend. Cheap, really good record.
Cool.
That'll be it.
I just picked one record for this. I was going down the more free jazz path than spiritual, but I was thinking of spiritual too. I thought of that record you showed. I thought of Journey to Setchidananda by Alice Coltrane, and then I thought of The Elements by Joe Henderson. Were really good intros to spiritual jazz. But anyway, I picked The Shape of Jazz to Come by Ornette Coleman.
Nice.
This is his third record on Atlantic. His first record on Atlantic, but it was his third record overall. And it's him and Billy Higgins and who else? Donald Cherry and Charlie Hayden. So that was his band, and then they replaced Billy Higgins with Ed Blackwell a few records later. But to me, this is, it's kind of perfect because it's literally the introduction of his where he was going to the rest of the world. It was recorded in 1959. And yeah, it's named The Shape of Jazz to Come. So
yeah,
good intro.
It's a great one to start with for sure.
And it is. It's definitely not normal sounding traditional jazz at all. But I also don't find it to be like irritating or I don't know, too crazy. Like some of his stuff on Blue Note that I'm not a really big fan of. I don't like that much. But this one I enjoy. So what do y'all think about this record versus like some of his other stuff?
Yeah. It's a good pick. I mean, took me some time to kind of feel like going into it.
Yeah.
It's not a hard listen. I think if you want to start exploring, getting out of your regular, bread and butter traditional jazz, I think it's a good start. Definitely.
Yeah. I think that was like my first like free record, and I got it because this was like early on when I was just looking for, the top record, top jazz records to get, and this is always included. So I remember I got my first copy, which was the Speaker's Corner, and I listened to it, and it was so different than everything I was listening to before, but it wasn't like you guys were saying, wasn't like a harsh listen, and I it totally won me over. It's a really, the compositions are interesting and cool. So I think that is a great one to start with, Chris.
Yeah, and it reminds me of when we were first hanging out, and we would listen to records like that. What is it? Where is Brooklyn by Don Cherry, right?
Yeah.
Me and Felipe bought that, and we listened to it once. We're like, "Oh my god, this record's horrifying! Like, we'll never listen to this again." And then the three of us were listening to the Coltrane Village Vanguard. I mean, the first side we were fine on. The second side, we got about 5 minutes, and we're like, "Oh my god, what the hell is this? We're never going to listen to this again." And now, it's fine. But,
Yeah.
so yeah.
I think for me personally, this record was easier to listen first time than the Out to Lunch. Out to Lunch was not like a hard listen, but it took me a while to want to listen to it again.
Yeah.
Right?
I think Out to Lunch is a good intro too, though.
Yeah, that's a good one. I listened to it yesterday. I listened to side one yesterday.
I love that record.
So, all right. So I think an easy one to get into and should be your first one for free jazz is Brotsman Machine Gun. I am joking. That is not a real recommendation. This is probably the hardest record to listen to in my collection. But actually, it is worth mentioning. If you listen to that Ornette Coleman that Chris showed, and you listen to this, you have there's a pretty wide spectrum there that can kind of set you up. And what I've noticed when listening to more challenging music is it's hard to jump into. It's easier to find reference points and then find your way there, because it just makes, I don't know, it's just like it's almost like your I don't know what the word is, not training, but like you're just exposing yourself to that music.
You're
and
adapting to it.
You're adapting. Yeah. But anyway, that was a joke. This is a difficult one. And if this is your first free jazz record, that's awesome. I commend you. But what my recommendation would be is this record here. This is definitely free jazz. This is David Holland on ECM. This is Conference of the Birds. So this has a great lineup on it, and the compositions are really cool. So Dave Holland, Sam Rivers, Anthony Braxton, and Barry Ashel. So it's quartet, and they do a lot of different styles of music, different styles of percussion. They play with space, they play with dissonance a little bit, and kind of like they get like kind of cacophonous a little bit sometimes, but it's really they're really using that as like a feature, and it's not like the full kind of style of the record. So I think this is a cool one. I think it'll open up your mind to different music, and there's a lot packed in here. And this is a great record. So, and I think you can get this for less than $40. I
got a copy of that. I haven't listened to it yet. I just got through cleaning it. Paid $30 for it.
Yeah, and it's a cool cover.
Yeah, it looks cool. Pretty cool.
All right.
Sweet.
All right. So next, I think that kind of missed this category. I think we'll probably have a bunch of those. Cheap Heat.
Yeah.
That's one of the best ones, I think, right?
Yeah.
So
Absolutely.
I picked some that I'm going to show pretty quick. 2 ECM records.
Okay.
I think ECM has a lot of those, right? It's not expensive, and they have amazing records. I'm going to start with this one. I think it was like a $7 record. Kenny Wheeler, Diamond. I listen a lot to this ECM here. It's really, really good. The sound is amazing. The music is very, I would say, a little progressive, a little calm in some parts, but I think it's one of the records that I listened to the most in 2023. Kenny Wheeler, Ian Garbarek, John Abercrombie, Dave Holland, Jack Shonette, Ralph Downer playing guitar. So there's a little bit of everything here in terms of instruments. It's a very well-structured record, easy listen, and it's cheap heat, very cheap heat.
Nice.
Second ECM I want to show is a record called Batik. It's also a trio. Ralph Tower, Eddie Gomez, and Jack Jonette. I need to say anything else. This record is like fire, really nice listen to, and again, ultra cheap. This record doesn't go anywhere beyond $15.
Very nice.
And lastly, another $10 record that's a classic. It belongs in everybody's collection. If you don't have this record, go buy it now or order it. Henry Treadgill, Easy Sleep into Another World.
Oh, nice. Really nice.
I think this is one of the cheapest hits you can possibly get. I think this record belongs in a museum,
Yeah. That first track is a banger.
Right, it's an absolute classic, and everybody should have it. This on Novus Records. All of his records on Novus, they sound absolutely fantastic, spectacular, and the music is great too. I mean, and Henry is like an American legacy. He's a genius that needs even more recognition than what he has, I think. Highly recommend. $10 record, any day of the week, and get it.
Very
That's it.
nice.
Very cool.
So I only had one record, but I just pulled two out of my butt like right now. So Cheap Heat is my favorite thing in the world. Half my collection's Cheap Heat. I mean, half my collection's for records I paid $10 or less, for $15 or less for sure. This one is a killer record.
Oh yes.
Sonny Chris Craft. This is on Muse. So it's Sonny Chris on alto sax, Ray Crawford on guitar, Dolo Coker on piano, who's amazing, Larry Gales on drums, and Jimmy Smith on drums. I guess they had two different drummers. But anyway, when was this recorded? 1975. So this was his first session he had done in 6 years. And you can really tell he was really excited about it. I mean, this playing on this is just nuts. And then he died 2 years later. He actually got stomach cancer and shot himself in 1977.
I did not know that.
Yeah. And Sonny Chris is great. He's had a bunch of stuff on Prestige, but I mean, I think I paid $5 for this. You know, the cover's split in half, but it sounds really good. One of my favorite muses for sure. I was reading some reviews, and one of the guys said it's his best record in his opinion. So I was like, okay, sure.
It's really good.
I agree with that. Okay, this one I've shown on our live stream. I've been listening to a lot lately. It's a Jackie McLean record I picked up recently called New Wine in Old Bottles. So it's Jackie McLean with a great jazz trio.
Mm-hmm.
Which is, let's see, Jackie McLean, Hank Jones, Ron Carter, and I forget, Tony Williams is on drums. This cover's kind of roached out, so I had to kind of guess their names. But I paid $5 for this, and it's just so good. It was on East
Inner City.
It was on Eastwind originally. Well, and it was also released on Inner City here, so it was on Eastwind in Japan. Yeah, everyone should have this record in their collection for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last one I'm going to show tonight. This is more of a category of records than this specific one, but this is Larry Coryell, Fairyland. This is on, I don't remember what label it was on originally. But anyway, Larry Coryell has had a bunch of records that like Culture Factory and all those different little French labels have put out on Record Store Day.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, $25 if you buy them on day one. But they all sound good. They're all like cool colored vinyl. They're not audiophile or anything, but they're fun records. But you can get them, 2-3 months later on Discogs for like $15.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of Record Store Day stuff if it's not like super limited. I don't know.
Or super desirable, right?
Or super desirable, sure. You can get these records just drop in price, and I enjoy them. So love Cheap Heat.
Cool.
Nice. Cool. I just have one to show. This will come as no surprise. This is my copy of Ryan DeGraff, Modal Soul. This record I picked up this year. This was put out by Timeless Record, recorded in Holland, and Timeless Muse in the United States reissued it. It has like an identical cover. This is the Timeless version. It's clean. It sounds great. These are very well recorded records. They sound fantastic. The music. Ryan DeGraff has become one of my favorite piano players this year. He has a lot of stuff on Timeless. I have a record coming of his. I'm trying to think. I might have another title of his as well. Oh, I do. I think it's called like New York Time or something like that. And that's also excellent. He has a really kind of cool virtuosic style, like in speed and I guess like technical ability, but it's not like done in some type of like academic way. It has like a little bit of swing. It's also a little out there too. And here he's working with Dick Vennick, who is an alto sax player, right? Is it alto?
That's cool.
Sorry, tenor and flute on this.
Hmm.
And anyway, it's a great record, and highly recommend this one. And it's cheap heat. I think I got this for $15.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a killer record. Just killer.
And you
killer.
can probably get it for cheaper than that. The Timeless Muse one. You could probably get for cheaper.
Yeah, that's the one I have. Yeah, it's really good. And before we move on to the next question, I mean, for people that are getting started in jazz or people that want to get more records in general, there's so much good shit out there that's not expensive.
Yeah.
Like
We were just talking.
people, if you want to buy OG Blue Notes that costs $500, that's amazing and that's cool. But there's also, if you have a budget, you can get a lot of records for $5 to $20 that are just amazing.
Yeah, I was just gonna add that, Chris. I think overall, cheap heat, Muse, like 99% of their catalogs under $30.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
We were-
and it's
we were
really
talking-
the music's amazing.
Yeah, Muse is still a good value record label with some exceptions, but
I mean, like the Ricky Ford records, he did like 9 records on Muse, and they're all
those are like
cheap.
$4 records.
Yeah.
And they're great. They have great lineups.
Houston
and-
Person's another cool sax player on Muse that did a bunch of records that are cheap
Mhm.
and good.
But we were talking.
Go
I was just gonna say we were talking just before this about how Shahib Shahab and Joe Henderson are getting a ton of attention, and their records are skyrocketing in value because
Mhm.
everybody's going to get those now because there's some new reissues coming out and there's new attention given to them because of that, and people are discovering them. But there are other musicians that you can go and do deep dives on, or like Timeless or Muse. Like when
Mhm.
everybody's going there, why don't you go somewhere else? I mean, there's going to be like a next thing that is going to get hot. So anyway, it's just fun. I think this
It's
is a really
basically
good
all our fault that things get hot. I think we
Yeah.
control the vinyl market,
Yeah.
used vinyl market.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point. Yeah, that's a great point, Mike. That's pretty
So
cool.
you don't have to
Well,
always.
I mean, Joe Henderson, like he's always
I
been
know.
cover.
I know. And what
You're
can you
right.
really do better than Joe Henderson? Probably not. But there's still other good stuff that is undervalued, that sounds fantastic, and the music is great, and the players are great, and the history is great, and you can get all of that value from it, and not spend hundreds of dollars.
Exactly.
And if you look at like Galaxy, like the Galaxy label with Art Pepper and George
Mhm.
Cables and a lot of that stuff, Hank Jones did some records there, and they were recorded in the 80s, so they sound nuts. I mean, they sound so good.
Oh yeah.
You get them for $5. So anyway, we could have a whole episode about cheap heat, but
Yeah.
maybe
Oh,
we
that'll be
should.
a cool idea. So next question. It goes on the cheap heat side or whatever. Reissues you would like to see 2024. I think it could be some of those that are announced if you want to talk about them.
Yeah.
But I'm going to show records that I wish they were in print. I have them. I'm going to show. But I think everybody should have a chance to find those guys and buy them easy and high quality. Okay.
Okay.
So first of all, this one should be on the acoustic sound series.
Mm.
This record kicks ass any time of the day. Heavy sounds,
Oh yeah,
right?
that'd be cool.
Man, this record is like smokes. It's Richard Davis and Elvin Jones. Ron Chirita, Summertime, Shiny Stockings, Elvin's Guitar Blues, Rainy Days. Those tracks, they're like, especially Summertime. What they do here at Summertime is just incredible.
Mm.
So, and Richard Davis still, it's funny. You can also, to me, I always listen to a record, the bass like catches me, say, man, this is Richard Davis for free, even without knowing the title. There's something extra that he does special. So heavy sounds. There are many versions there. Some of them sound good, some of them are not so much. So this is a record that belongs to the acoustic sound series, in my opinion.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Now, are they still doing that series, like the Verve Impulse series?
Yeah. They're just announced some titles now, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, they're still doing it.
All right.
Now this should be on the OJC catalog.
Okay.
Let's see it.
Easy, right?
Ooh, great pick.
This should be on OJC. I mean, I was just listening to this record last night. I said, man, this is a Japanese pressing. My local here has a second press American. I'm not even considering buying because this is good enough for me.
Yeah.
But
I have a Japanese pressing of that too. That I paid $6 for, I think.
and this record sounds unbelievable. It's really beautiful music. I mean, Curtis Ford Quintet, Benny Golson, Tommy Flanagan, Jimmy Harrison, or Harwood.
Yeah.
It's a really good band put together. It's like really round, really well-oiled session. There's no corners there. It's just perfect, well-polished, beautiful recording, beginning to end. So this deserves to be reissued.
Absolutely.
OJC.
There's a handful of Savoy that really should be they should do a whole Savoy reissue series, but there are definitely like
also
five or six that absolutely should be reissued.
Also Sahib Jazz, the one with the yellow cover, that one is great too.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And lastly, I'm gonna show a muse that is not cheap heat.
Okay.
It came first on Cobblestone. This band had The Visitors, of course, had 4 records. This one is their most popular and their best, I think, by far. Owen Call Groups, The Visitors.
Oh, cool. So that's a really good pick.
That's original music. I mean, everybody should have access to this record because this thing is smokes. For the ones who don't know, Carl and the groups, they were first direct cousins to Juanita Grubbs. Her middle name was Naima. She was the first wife of John Coltrane, and they actually took lessons of John from John in the 50s.
Oh wow, that's cool.
Yeah, and this record actually has a rendition of Naima. Okay.
Nice.
Oh right, that's cool.
And this record is some of the best produced records from that period. I heard the imaging is just superb, and the music takes you somewhere else. This record is like a non-stop. You can get flip over and over. People deserve to have access to this, honestly, because even this guy is like a near $100 record. It's not cheap, and it's not easy to find a clean copy. So please, let's have this reissue. Yeah,
that'd be a good one.
All right, so Chris.
Yep, this is my pick. Power to the People. Joe Henderson. We all know it's coming out on Jazz Dispensary soon. They just announced it this week, so it seemed really easy. I've been any Joe Henderson on Milestone I want, basically. And you got Joe Henderson, Mike Lawrence on a couple of tracks playing trumpet, then Herbie playing piano and Fender Rhodes, Ron Carter on the bass, and a rare appearance on the electric bass for Ron Carter, and then Jack DeJohnette on drums. So, are y'all going to get this reissue?
No,
Definitely.
No,
I have it.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, but it's terrific. I think it was the first Joe Henderson we ever got, besides those Tone Poets.
Oh, nice.
And I bought it the day. It was a $10 record, and I love it. It's really good, and people should buy it. It's a no-brainer.
Cool.
Nice.
All right, and then on my end, I'm picking Air. This is Ron Carter's first record on New Jazz, featuring Eric Dolphy and Mal Waldron. This should be coming out on the OJC series this year. I don't know if it was officially announced, but somehow it leaked. I think one of the online shops may have had it up for pre-order.
Our favorite European online shop that leaks everything.
With some marketing materials. So people picked that up, and I think it made the rounds in the forums. So I think there's a high degree of confidence that this is being issued. So this will be the one I'm most excited for this year. I was streaming it today. It's a great record. Ron Carter plays double bass and cello on it. You have Eric Dolphy, alto, bass, clarinet, and flute. Ooh. Mal Waldron, piano. George DeVivier on bass, and Charlie Persip drums. So really great classic all-star lineup there.
Yeah, that's like a killer lineup for sure.
Oh yeah.
So it's Inglewood Cliffs recording from 1961. All compositions by Ron Carter, except for it looks like he has 2 compositions, and then they're doing standards. So it's cool. It's definitely one I'm really excited that they're reissuing.
Nice.
That's pretty cool. I'm grabbing this.
Yeah.
I'm definitely grabbing those. New Jazz are really good. I have a few OGs there. Those are good. But I'm missing this one. Definitely getting this one.
Yeah, on the same subject, there's obviously a bunch of the Tone Poets that I want that have been, that we talked about, and the new contemporary series stuff that Chad announced, which looked pretty amazing. We can talk more about that on Friday.
Yeah,
But I'm excited about a lot of those records too. So
absolutely.
always good reissues to spend our money on.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. Man, it looks like Ron Carter was born on a nice suit, right? It's amazing.
All right, we got one more question, I think, Felipe, and we can wrap it
Last
up.
question.
Okay, grails. It's I don't like this expression because I don't like to like idolizing things and try to get this. I just listen, I like it, I buy it, and that's it. If it's hard to
I
get,
agree.
I want to call it a grail, whatever. But I don't chase records as baseball cards.
No.
I agree. I know there are people that are very particular about their definition of grail.
Yeah.
I'm not adhering to that.
Yes, the grail is the goblet of a humble man, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, so I got two this year. Very special to me. I mean, she's probably my favorite musician from the 1500 series. I really chase her records. I love her music. And this is my first OG, Utah.
Mhm.
Oh,
That's volume
nice.
1, 1515. Volume 2 is on 1516. I have a Japanese of that one. But this record is absolutely immaculate.
Nice.
And,
Beautiful.
and it is a promo copy.
Ooh.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah. Thanks to Yohei, a friend who I bought this record from. He's a really cool guy. Getting records from him. I got some other grails this year, but this one's my.
Can you show the label again, Felipe? That's a Lexington, right? It's early.
That's a Lexington. It's a hand carved. It's not stamped. The avant-garde.
How many records the Lexington label? Wasn't it really like a short run in the early
Lexington
1500s?
went until 1533 or 38, if I'm not mistaken.
No,
Yeah, so it's not that many.
No, because most of the Lexingtons are the 10 inches and all that stuff that came earlier.
yeah.
So that's when they moved to 47 West 63rd.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool.
And another one. This one came late in the year. I wasn't even expecting to get this record. It just fell on my lap. It was actually a VCLT from a local record store owner.
Nice.
And thank you, Raf. The cover was a little damaged, so I said I can't sell this, but the record is amazing. It's another 1500 series. That's 1583.
Oh,
wow.
Okay.
Why did he think he couldn't sell it? Like, that's crazy.
I said, yeah, the cover, the back of the cover has a little water damage, but
Who gives a shit?
only-
It never doesn't have a backup. Yeah.
So I mean, it is fine. I mean, for a record of this stature here,
Yeah. That's cool.
Yeah.
the front cover is fine. This is just like stains, but it won't come out, and I won't try to remove.
that's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, this part here is another cover that was like stuck together, so I don't want to peel it, and this
Yeah.
rip. But anyways, for free, I'm totally cool with that.
Yeah, that's fucking sweet.
And again, this is already a 47 West 63rd, of course, New York City, and it's in a
Nice.
great shape. He plays really good. It's an OG mono, this Blue Note, so no complaints. It was another unexpected grail that fell on my lap a couple of weeks ago.
Who's on that with him, Felipe?
So Scarce Foley, Art Farmer, Sonny Clark, George Tucker, and Louis Hayes.
Nice.
Not bad. It's
Sonny
a really
Clark.
good record. Yeah.
Very cool.
Cool.
1583.
I just picked one record, and I mean, after we show our records, I want to talk more about this whole Grail thing. But this one I got a really good deal on because it was supposed to be a repress. It turned out to be the first pressing. It's
Nice.
it's like VG Plus probably. Joe Henderson in Japan. So this is obviously recorded at Tim with 3 Japanese guys. They play piano, electric piano, bass, and drums. He's on the sax, of course. I got this one, and I got another one, which I can't remember what the other one was that I got of his. It's on Milestone, but anyway, this was my favorite.
That's nice.
Grail record that I got for the year. I guess I don't tend to spend a lot of money on records, so this is probably $100 record, $100 record. If you were to buy it on Discogs, and I just don't tend to do that because I think that all these records are going to get reissued eventually, and I can just buy them for $30 and they'll sound amazing. So that's kind of my strategy for record collecting. I know a lot of people don't do that, which is fine. But yeah, there's my graph for the year.
That's awesome. It's pretty awesome.
I know where you got that, and I was also considering getting that, and I'm happy you got it.
Did I get it from Banana Records?
Yes. because they put up like, I guess like 3 or 4 Joe Hendersons.
Right. I
And
bought 2 of them.
I can't remember what the other one was, but
It's East Asian something. I don't know. I'll look it up while you show yours.
okay. Well, this one I think was a big one. Probably, I mean, I made a video specifically about getting this record, so figured this is the one for me to pick. This is a Love Supreme mono. This was a really unexpected pickup. I have a stereo copy, the Acoustic Sound Series Love Supreme, that I'm happy with. I would like to get the UHQR. It's just pretty expensive, and I have a copy of it. But this came up online for $15. It was mislisted. It was up for like probably like a few seconds. I bought it immediately, and it came, and it was the mono, which I could tell from the mono stamp here. And it's cool. Like it's an expensive record. I think it usually goes like $200, but it can go much higher depending on condition, etc. And it's cool because it's a fold down, and you have Coltrane right in the center. So that's why it's fun to listen to. Stereo copies are great too. I like my friend has a second pressing stereo OG, and that one sounds amazing. It has Coltrane in the left channel, and he sounds way up in front. And it's just a great experience to listen to that. But this is the mono. I was really happy to get this one. And the reason why, like I said earlier, like the definition of a grail, people have very particular definitions, and this would not be living up to that, because if you go on Discogs, there are like over 1,000 people have this. This was, you know, A Love Supreme was pressed, repressed, put out there a lot of times. So this, you know, this is not a rare record. So if rarity is part of the criteria for grail, this would not match that. But still, this is an expensive record, and one that, you know, is expensive to get. You can easily find them for lots of money online. There's you know, probably 20 in the United States on those right now. But I got mine for 15, and it sounds awesome. Love it. So this was mine.
It's braggy. Yeah, so I mean, I kind of already said my piece about the whole grail thing. It's fine. You know, people can collect records however they want. I will say the one I want to get rid of a bunch of cheap heat and buy some other records that I really want. You know, because man, I was looking through my collection today, just grabbing some of these records that came into my brain. I'm like, I haven't listened to this in 3 years. You know, like those Paul Desmond records. I haven't listened to those since I first got them. I listened to them once and put them up on the shelf, and you know, so I would like to thin out my collection quite a bit and listen to the records that I have more. I guess it's hard though. It's hard not to just keep buying new shit.
Yeah,
you know.
But now I think we have this comfort that things don't sell out anymore. We can just wait.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, that's true for
a good price, or see if you really like it, or get tired of some stuff that you haven't, got rid of those, get new stuff. You know.
Yeah, that's a good point too. Like, if you go buy a record for $10 in a record store, or $15 in a record store, and you listen to it 2 or 3 times, you're like, "This was cool, but I'm kind of done with it." You can sell it to somebody for $10 or $15. Like,
yeah,
you know, you can sell records not to make money, but just to fund new purchases, and you've experienced these things, and you know, it's a fun way to go.
Yeah, well, I agree, Chris. It's all journey, discovery.
Absolutely.
Right.
Cool. Well, that's the list.
All right. Well, we're going to drop all the questions in the description. We encourage everyone to participate. This is a great way to start a channels that are established. This is a fun thing to get people to explore and find you. Our first video was the tunes tag from like 2022, 2021, something like that.
22.
And 22. And that it gave us prompts, got us thinking, and gave us content, and got us eyeballs, because people were searching for that hashtag. So it's a really great entry point if you are thinking about jumping in. It's a fun way to do it.
For sure.
Agree. So we encourage everyone. Yes, absolutely.
So thank you, Rob, for putting this together. Thank you for everybody for participating, and remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.
Awesome.